Calculating productivity. Generally, technically oriented professionals will focus on production levels. However, livestock keepers will be more interested in productivity and profitability from their livestock enterprises. The productivity of an activity equates to the efficiency of conversion of inputs to outputs. For semi-intensive and larger poultry production systems, the general inputs are water, feed, vaccines, medicine, labor, capital, land, infrastructure, and management. The general products are meat, eggs, feathers, day-old chicks or ducks, growers, and manure. In a poultry system, there are different inputs and different products. To estimate poultry productivity, it is common to convert the inputs and outputs into monetary values. Measuring inputs and outputs in this way can give an idea of the financial performance or profitability of a poultry production system. Profitability takes into account the costs of a poultry enterprise. Calculating productivity requires knowledge of the real value of outputs per unit of time and the total value of inputs per unit of time. By dividing the total value of outputs per unit of time by the total value of inputs per unit of time, we arrive at the figure for productivity. Gross margin analysis is used to assess and compare different enterprises. Margins on sales are a key factor in many fundamental business considerations, including budgets and forecasts. All managers should, and generally do, know their approximate business margins. The basis of the analysis is real data. These do not take into account fixed costs, management time, or changes in an enterprise. Mathematically, the gross margin is the total output minus variable costs. It is important to remember that gross margins do not take into account fixed costs. There are three important aspects when calculating output from a livestock enterprise: the birds and products that move out, the birds and products that move in, and the total change in flock value. Examples of birds and products that move out are the sale of products like eggs, feathers, and manure, the sale of birds, the value of poultry products consumed in the household, the value of products and birds given to workers as a form of payment, and the value of birds that are gifted or loaned. Examples of birds and products that move in are purchased birds and birds received as gifts or loans. The change in flock value takes into account the monetary value of the flock at the end of the analysis period, and the monetary value of the flock at the beginning of the analysis period. In this example, we calculate the output of a small laying unit. At the beginning of the year, a poultry producer has 10 lay hens, each worth $5. Each bird produces 200 eggs in the year, worth 10 cents per egg. The owners eat 200 eggs, give 200 as gifts, and sell the rest. During the year, the poultry producer buys 10 day-old chicks at 50 cents per bird, and all the birds survive. At the end of the year, the original hens have become spent hens and are now worth only $2 per bird. The day-old chicks are mature enough to lay eggs and are worth $5 per bird. The total output from the layer unit is $215, composed of $200 for the birds and products, $20 for the change in flock value, and a negative output of $5 for the purchase of day-old chicks. There are two important aspects when calculating input from a livestock enterprise: fixed costs and variable costs. It is important to remember that fixed costs only vary in the long term, and that even if there is no production, the fixed costs will still exist. In a farm with a mixture of enterprises, the fixed costs will be shared among the enterprises. Fixed costs may include salaries for permanent staff, maintenance of machinery and farm infrastructure, rent, administration costs, electricity, water, petrol, diesel, depreciation and interest. Variable costs are costs that vary in the short term according to the scale of production. If no production is taking place, then the variable costs will be zero. Variable costs may include animal health inputs, such as vaccines or drugs, concentrate feeds, and mineral supplements. This presentation about calculating productivity is part 3 of a 5-part series on the economics of family poultry production.